Welcome to another episode of the HopCast.
Hey, thanks for drinking with us, everybody.
I'm Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder.
And we got one local and one non-local beer here.
The far distant lands of New York, yes. Kind of like around this area, obviously this is our Three Floyds Rabbid Rabbit, and we have a Captain Lawrence barrel-aged sour here, so we kind of have like, you know, this is our stuff that we can get usually all the time that people from distant lands are like, yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, rabbit.
And this is kind of what we do to them in return. So it works out well. So this is kind of like Three Floyds' interpretation of a Saison.
Right.
And usually you have to just say interpretation with Three Floyds because they don't really go by the book too much.
And I think it could be from like 2 Dark Lord days ago.
We're measuring in Dark Lord days now.
So what's that, a couple of years now?
Yeah.
So
this one should probably age fairly well.
All right, it comes in at 9%, and then Captain Lawrence comes in at 6%. But rather than going alcohol this time, we're gonna go funky.
Flavor intensity, yeah, you're gonna get that like puckering thing from this guy we're expecting. So we're gonna start out with that nice sparkly Saison first. So
let's do it. Yeah,
without further ado, crack it open.
So that poured out pretty, almost a little cloudy, not quite clear, but like a golden straw, cloudy.
Golden haze. Isn't that a rock tune? Golden haze?
Purple haze.
Oh,
right?
Okay. But yeah, what I like about this beer, we're pretty familiar with this one at the moment, but is the aroma on this, because it's this one has chamomile tea in it, and it's apparent right away. I mean, it just mixed with like the Saison yeast, and you get like this bready quality to it in the aroma, which is like super nice.
Yeah, spicy, kind of tingles your nostrils a little.
Stings the nostrils. Well, cheers.
I guess it's like drinking a nice cup of tea.
It is. It's like it's quite a departure from what Three Floyds normally is doing. A lot of their beers are like super intense, either hoppy, roasty, alcoholic, and this is kind of none of the above.
Well, at 9%, it's pretty up there, and that it's hiding it.
Yeah, I suppose it hides it. I had forgotten that it was 9%. So yeah, but it's quite delicate for 9%. I'm not sure if it's just the age on it, but I always remember this never being like a super hot beer, you know.
Right. Are you getting any? I'm not getting any age taste to it. Doesn't
no,
taste
it's
like...
not. It's not musty or oxidized or anything like that. It's held up quite nicely. I think the flavors have rounded out. It's not so in your face, but it's certainly held up.
Yeah, it is almost like tasting a cold cup of chamomile tea. Oh shit, I forgot to drink my tea. Now it's cold.
Oops. Yeah, but you get that like, I mean, if you can imagine, it's kind of like a spicy chamomile with bread. I mean, that's essentially what it is, liquefied. But it's straight up, you know. It's because it has that nice bready quality in the flavor as well.
Yeah, and finishes a little dry, but what's the palate and makes you want to go back for more.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite seasonals that they do, and they've got a bunch at this point. You know, Admiral Lord Nelson, Brian Boru, Blackout Stout, or Black Sun Stout rather. But I really like when they do the Saison, nice and spicy, and it's just different from the kind of things they're normally putting out. I appreciate that.
And so if I probably got this at Dark Lord Day, that means it gets in the bottles around April, maybe March, April, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they can turn them around pretty quick. So that is, yeah. So what do we say, like 3 years?
Yeah, it's coming up on 3 years. Probably. I don't remember picking one up since then.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. This one doesn't really stick around in my house too long, so I don't have any in the cellar myself.
It was in the back. I think it got buried and.
may have found it.
Yeah, digging around in there.
Well, cheers. Yeah, I mean, if you can come across one of these, I would definitely recommend picking it up. But they can be pricey sometimes. But I would say it's worth a shot if you haven't tried it before. It's a real interesting interpretation of the style, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have no problems finishing this off. I'm almost done.
Not at all, kind sir. Cheers.
Ken, I'm empty.
Yeah, my glass is empty, and that's a problem. So,
good thing we got more beer.
Well, there's never a shortage when you're around the two of us. So this one is the Captain Lawrence from their Barrel Select series.
I guess this is number 1, the first one of the series. So
number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
Okay, I'm not really too familiar with the series, it being not distributed here and all.
Yeah.
But sour beer. Aged in oak.
Right.
It's going to be blended back together. It's pretty common practice.
Right, so we got a FB-BB on the back. You think that's French oak and bourbon barrels?
FO/BB?
Yeah.
That sounds like it would make sense. I'm surprised that they would do a sour in a bourbon barrel, but you never know. I mean, experimentation is what it is. But
and this was bottled
see if we can taste any bourbon. That's
February of last year, so almost 2 years on it.
Yeah, nice and funky. And these, I mean, the reason that some of these beers are so expensive is that,
whoa,
Gusher, is that they give you an extra surprise when you open them. So you have to pay extra for that. No, that's not true. So that was the pour.
Here, I'll pour mine out and we'll take a look at that.
All right, sounds good.
Cleaned up the mess, or you cleaned up the mess. I poured my beer.
Fair enough, sometimes you get that with some of these wild beers and Belgian style beers.
Wild.
Yeah, that's why they call them wild. That's the only reason.
That's all. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, shoot out. But the color almost matches the table. Where'd my beer go?
And that's all we have to say. The color matches the table at the Edelman office on the 64th floor. So, SRM that however you will. Or no, but it's pretty murky,
yeah.
I would say.
Got some floater.
Can't really see through it.
Got some stuff floating around in there.
But the aroma is quite spectacular.
Yeah, well, we could smell that when we made the mess. Just
even
up the room.
Even from the beer just spilling out of the bottle there, you could it just filled it up. So
someone's gonna walk in and be like, "What smells in here?"
Deliciousness. Kind of that the oak comes out, you get a nice cherry tartness. But let's drink. Cheers.
Ooh. I was gonna say, smelling it, palate's almost wetting. It's so tart. It's trying to.
It's pretty tart, but it's got there is some sweetness in there. What is typical with these sour beers is they'll, blend them back together, have a number of different barrels depending on how much they're doing, and taste each barrel and kind of blend back together to achieve some sort of consistency, because with these yeasts you really don't know what's going to happen from barrel to barrel. The barrel is in and of itself kind of like a variable, so that's kind of a way of making these things more consistent. And sometimes they'll even blend back like a sweet beer that's not soured yet.
Okay.
Just to kind of maintain a balance within the beer itself. And I'm not sure if they actually did that blend back with an unwild beer, but there is like kind of an underlying sweetness to it that kind of balances well with that puckering tart quality.
Because you get the tartness and then the sweetness comes through to save you from your
save me. I can taste that it's got a little bit of age on it. It's pretty oaky.
I'm not getting any bourbon if that is the BB for the bourbon barrel. I'm not getting any of that.
I'm with you on that. I don't really come across that in the flavor. It might be a totally just different abbreviation. I'm not sure.
Could be who bottled it or right? Who did it? Yeah, right. No, we don't know what those are.
Bob Bolenstaff. Nice work on this bottle. Is Bolenstaff a last name? I don't even know where that came from.
Sounds good. He's gonna Google his name now and be like, what? Imagine me.
Christ.
But so it says was on the bottle or online that this was 4 years in the making, or it says...
Yeah, right on the bottle here it says it takes over 4 years to make. 3 of that is probably just aging in barrels itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the time to blend it, taste it, package it, all that stuff. I think probably about 4 years. That's why these beers are so expensive.
Right. It was
some
probably
of these sour beers.
It was probably about $30. Got it from buddy Hoptopia.
Shout out!
So thanks for sending that. Yeah. So now we got 5 years. That's a long time.
And we're wasting it on us. We're not worthy.
Thanks for the hard work.
Yeah, they're becoming pretty well known for their wild barrel aging program, which is nice to see.
And they're doing a lot of unique beers. Mm-hmm. We did the Golden Delicious. What else? We did the Nor'easter.
Yep.
I think we did that IPA too. That's the
I've had their double IPA. I don't think we did it on the show, but I know I brought it back from a trip.
Little nubby bottle.
Yeah. Sweet nubs. These guys kind of remind me of Cascade in what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
And there's not too many breweries out there doing that kind of thing where they're dedicating a large portion of their brewery to wild yeast and
if you
barrel
had
aging.
to spend 5 years ahead of time, or those years knowing all right, I'm gonna open up a sour brewery, I might as well make these beers and just store them in my basement or whatever while I get things going.
Right. It's they had to certainly have some foresight because these wild beers are kind of coming into the forefront now with the trends of craft beer, and so for them to see that a few years back was pretty good for them. But obviously we've had Jolly Pumpkin doing kind of the same type of thing, mm-hmm. and that's all they do. The difference here is that Captain Lawrence does do your regular ales and stuff like that as well. So,
but both of these delicious, totally different beers.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we went in the proper progression though, because this is kind of like one of those palate wreckers in a different way than a super hoppy beer.
I think the Rabbid Rabbit kind of warmed us up.
Yeah.
Got those flavors going a little bit.
I kind of liking the sour beer palate wrecking to wasabi. It's not like hot sauce where it's going to linger with you for an hour. It's going to be really intense, but it's going to just mellow out right away. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, give it about 15 minutes. We'll be ready for whatever you throw our way. Give me a nice clean Pilsner. I'm fine. I'll taste the shit out of it.
Sounds about right.
It does. But, so thank you so much for joining us on some real nice beers that are hard to find, depending on what area you're from.
Right.
And some seasonals. So I had a good time.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.